Hi, I'm Stephanie Small, founder of Stephanie Small Health, where I help women transform their relationship with food. And I'm sitting in front of my apron collection behind me. Admire, enjoy. Today I want to talk to you about why you can't stop eating cookies, cakes, chips, candy, popcorn, that kind of thing. I talk a lot about the emotional reasons that we eat those kinds of foods, the way that those kinds of foods medicate our emotions. But today I want to talk about two really important physiological principles that you need to know in terms of why these foods in particular cause us just to keep going and going and going. The first principle has to do with the fact that when we put something in our body that's irritating to it, our body compensates by sending out this cocktail of feel-good neurotransmitters. So that's basically how our body tries to kind of mask that irritating toxic reaction. And it could be anything. It could be a food that we're allergic to. That happens. It could be a food that we don't know how to digest, like white flour, sugar, preservatives, trans fats. So when our body sends out all those feel-good neurotransmitters, we experience it as like a little bit of a high, or maybe kind of like a nice little numbing out sensation, and we begin to have a bit of an addiction to that, and we associate eating that food with that feeling. So that's the first physiological principle around these kinds of foods being addictive. The second is that when we're hungry, our body is hardwired to want two things: calories, so the actual amount of food, the actual bulk of food, and nutrients. So if we're eating food that is very low in nutrients, but has a normal amount or high amount of calories, our body's going to want us to keep eating. It's going to keep looking for the nutrients. And that explains why if we eat a meal of fast food, which could be high calorie but low nutrient, or we're eating, cookies that are made with highly processed flour and sugar and food coloring and preservatives and things like that, also low in nutrients, our body's going, where are the nutrients? Where are the nutrients? And it wants us to keep eating because it thinks we're going to get them. So with these two principles in mind, what you want to think about is this is not about I need to stop eating cakes, cookies, chips. No way. That stuff's good, right? We enjoy it. It's tasty. And the number one way to set yourself up for a binge is to deprive yourself and tell yourself you can't have something, right? What you want to think about is quality. Quality is key. So think about maybe making your own cookies using a whole grain flour, using a natural sweetener, something like honey or maple syrup that's really rich in minerals. Use pastured eggs, use nice full-fat organic butter, so that when you eat these foods, number one, your body's not going to have a toxic reaction like, what do I need to do? Let me send out these good neurotransmitters to kind of like mitigate this effect. It's not going to have a negative reaction. And number two, you're going to be giving it a lot of minerals, so it's not going to tell you, eat more so you can get more minerals in. And that is why very often when you eat good quality desserts or nice quality homemade chips, like you take a sweet potato and slice it thinly and put some olive oil and sea salt and bake it at a high heat. Number one, you don't need to eat 8,000 pieces of it, right? Because you feel satiated and you're not having a toxic reaction and your body's getting nutrients. But number two, even if you do eat a ton of it, it's much better to eat a ton of that than the low quality stuff. So my advice, focus on quality, try making your own stuff, and let me know how it goes. Good luck.